Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our C21 and Dell Technologies AI use case project. We welcome you from wherever you are viewing this incredible video that will be full of learning. Hello, my name is Katina Popolkis, and I am the Senior Education Strategist for Dell Technologies. My role is to support both K-12 as well as post-secondary higher ed across Canada. Tonight, we are going to be focusing in on integrating AI into education, the Transforming Learning project that we've been working on over the past year. And we've been telling these stories as part of our use case project. So many great stories across Canada. Before we get started, we will do a land acknowledgement in support of all of our communities across the country.
I would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. Please join me in a moment of reflection to acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past and to consider how we are and can each in our own way try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration.
Thank you. And now we'll get into the learning. So what basically happened was last year we were at the University of Calgary with the C21 team. And C21 is an organization, not-for-profit, that supports leaders in K-12 districts across the country with the integration of technology into education, the effective integration. So, of course, everybody is grappling with generative AI. And as a Dell person, we were there as part of this group to bring our point of view from a technology perspective. So this group C21 has put out the future of AI in K-12 education, a report. And together, as you can see, this was our meeting at the University of Calgary. Everyone was like, what are we going to do next? How do we make this happen? Everybody's trying to boil the ocean. How can we do this effectively so that everyone can build their AI literacy skills? And so that is how we came up with this very unique Pan-Canadian project. It is a partnership initiative around these AI use cases. So the goal of the project, there are three of them. We really want to focus on enhancing student achievement, supporting educator and student well-being, and helping with admin efficiencies. And so we don't want people just to use AI for the sake of using AI, but we want to really make sure that it's transformative. This is really going to help our students with learning. So that could be through personalized learning, having a tutor, differentiating it in some way to help them and their achievement. We also were against trying to do everything at once. So by focusing on specific and narrow use cases, as well as working in small teams, it would help to actually figure out what are some of the opportunities available and how do we overcome some of the challenges. And then the idea is we share it pan-Canadian. And as always, we need to make sure there is that commitment to privacy, security, ethics, and reducing as much bias as possible. So you might be asking, why are we doing this? Here is really what we're seeing out in the space, trying to understand with this technology that is not just in education, but in every part of our global experience. We are seeing it in every industry, every vertical. And we have to recognize that education, our students are using it, and how do we help them understand how to use it wisely? And I think Andreas Schleicher, the director of education and skills at the OECD, he says it well. Humans are really great at inventing new tools. However, using them wisely is something that we have to work on. And so for this reason, we need to come together wisely with the right intentions in place, which is how we came together to create these amazing use cases. This was round one. We have several use cases that are up there. You can go to that QR code, check them out. We put them multimodality, so each team has their own dedicated space. We have it in a PDF, a video form, and we used AI tools to, like Notebook LM, to create podcasts as well. So we're trying to walk the talk at the same time, learning all together. So as mentioned, you can see that each one has a particular use case. And what we've been doing, we've started round two now. What we've been doing is providing professional learning for all of the groups so that they can be adding to their use case. So if you were here the other week with us, you would have met this wonderful person. She was talking about ethics and AI, and it was just a riveting conversation that we had, and her presentation is phenomenal. So if you haven't seen it, please go back into one of the links. You can watch the recording from the other time. But Jill is back again tonight, and she's going to be talking about unlocking AI with Amii's Learning Kits for Teachers. She is the manager of AI literacy with the training team at Amii. Now, for those of you who don't know what Amii is, the acronym stands for the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. It's one of 3 not-for-profits across Canada. So there's Amii, Vector Institute in Ontario, and Mila out in Quebec. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Jill to present her incredible offerings and the learning kits tonight so all of us can learn more about it. Welcome, Jill. Such a pleasure to have you back again.
Thank you so much, Katina, and I'm happy to be back again. I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation here. I think this is the one that I'm wanting. Slideshow version. Yes. Okay. So yes, I was had the opportunity to speak couple, I think it was last week or maybe the week before. Feel like the weeks are melding together about AI ethics. And so I would really encourage you to go take a listen to that one as well if that's something you're interested in. It's really important for us as educators to think about all of the ethical implications of artificial intelligence as we move to bring these tools into our practice and into our classrooms. But today, I want to talk to you just a little bit about, what Amii developed, what our organization developed to support teachers, kind of our process for developing these learning kit resources for educators to really bring AI into their classrooms and teach their students about AI, not only how to use it, but again, those ethical components that are so important. So yeah, I won't go over my whole bio again, but you will notice a change from Katina's earlier slide because last week I actually passed my candidacy exam. I'm also a PhD student at the University of Alberta. And so now I'm a PhD candidate, no longer just a student. And so that's a really exciting change, I guess, that's happened to me over the last week. But my contact information is there as well if you feel like you want to reach out. Just a little bit more high level on who Amii is, what we are. Our motto is inspiring world-changing machine intelligence for good and for all. We were born out of the University of Alberta. And now I think we have 90 people on our staff. So it has grown quite substantially over the past couple of years. And I'm lucky to be part of a team that is so forward thinking. My role as the manager of AI literacy really focuses on K-12 education, as well as post-secondary and industry. But again, that world-changing machine intelligence for good and for all, heavy ethical component there in thinking about AI. As Katina mentioned, we are part of the Pan-Canadian AI strategy. There are 3 institutes in Canada that support this work. One is in Montreal, it's called Mila, and the other one is in Toronto called Vector. And then, of course, Amii out here in Western Canada in Alberta. And you might have noticed already that my title, Manager of AI Literacy, I'm probably going to use this term quite a bit throughout this presentation tonight. And so I just want to, at a high level, look at kind of how I'm defining AI literacy and what I think it means to be AI literate in the 21st century. This is just an image of our Amii space, and our CEO, Cam Linke. He said, in a world where AI's impact is everywhere, we need to have AI literacy be everywhere as well. And of course, coming from the education space, we can understand AI literacy as stemming from kind of this bigger movement towards digital literacy. And of course, this is how we use, engage, and understand with digital texts and platforms. Examples could be like online news or social media and digital sharing. In the education space, of course, for my teachers listening, this also constitutes the way that we assess students in our classrooms, being able to assess students through not only pen to paper, which I think is really important, but also through digital means, having our students create things like podcasts or YouTube videos to demonstrate their learning. And so it's an expansive kind of the umbrella term at the in terms of how I'm looking at it. We also have the notion of data literacy, which is increasingly important, especially in the age of AI that we're currently in, and also stemming from this bigger move towards digital literacy. And then we have a definition here on the screen of AI literacy. This one I don't mind. It is from 2020, and it says enables individuals to critically evaluate AI technologies, communicate and collaborate effectively with AI, and use AI as a tool online, at home, and in the workplace. And for me, this definition is to the point, it's concise. It speaks generally to what I believe AI literacy to be, especially highlighting that it's about collaborating and evaluating AI technologies as well. So it's not only about learning how to use a tool like ChatGPT or Magic School or Canva, right? The integrations with AI. It's also about understanding the implications, those ethical components of bringing AI into the classroom. Of course, if we're thinking about AI and education for teachers. Amii also has a larger AI literacy philosophy, which I'm not going to read it all out to you, but again, highlighting that AI isn't just, or AI literacy isn't just about learning how to use a tool. It's about understanding how we interact with it and how that impacts various aspects of our lives and society as a whole. A lot of my work stems around building AI literacy frameworks as well as resources for teachers. And I just also wanted to highlight some of the work that UNESCO has been doing around AI competencies for an AI competency framework for both teachers and students that's kind of leveled out based on kind of the Bloom's taxonomy understanding of understanding, applying, creating that level, and highlighting the certain areas that UNESCO has found important for educators and students to know. And so when we're developing resources, which I'm going to get into in a moment at Amii, we really think about all of these components when we're developing resources for teachers to use in the classroom, especially focused on the human-centered mindset, the ethics of AI, and of course, learning how to use these AI applications being highly important. Again, there is the competency framework for students as well that many school boards that I'm working with are looking at in terms of building out guidance for their own teachers in their districts. But in terms of Amii's AI and K-12 program, we're really focused on programming that's free of charge for teachers, open access for anybody to engage with. And so just some statistics of where we're currently at in terms of use of our learning kits. We have about 853 teachers that are currently accessing and using our learning kit materials in their classrooms, which encompasses about 404 schools and 37 school boards, mostly in Alberta and Western Canada. But of course, we have teachers accessing from Ontario and other parts of the country as well. And Amii as a whole has a top 5 global AI ranking. So we do have that backing, that expertise to really bring resources that are going to help teachers to the classroom, to the forefront. And so our principles around K to 12 literacy are really about equipping educators, empowering students to learn and foster AI literacy, aligning to workforce and career pathways, as well as promoting inclusion. And so for Amii's AI and K to 12 program, what we really did here is we wanted to focus on teachers to start. We really thought that a program that centers teachers and their learning is going to help bolster the student population with higher levels of AI literacy. If we can support teachers, then they can better support the students in their classrooms as those students move into the workforce and into post-secondary institutions. And so, in order to build this out, this isn't something that we did in a silo in terms of developing these resources. We brought in teachers from different school boards in Alberta, pretty large groups. We're talking about 100, 150 teachers. We did stakeholder engagement sessions or focus groups with pilot groups of teachers. And those teachers really informed the direction that we took the resource build or the building of these learning kits, like I'm calling them. They also informed a professional development workshop that I often deliver to educators. And so throughout this process, throughout this pilot process, we really engaged with teachers. I got the opportunity to go into teachers' classrooms and see them teaching the content, co-teach with them, which was really eye-opening. And teachers also had the opportunity to provide us with feedback, and we implemented that feedback to ensure that the learning kits are the best that they can be for all the teachers that want to access them. So ultimately, what did we build? So we built 7 learning kits in total over the past about a year and a half. And these learning kits are really associated with certain grade levels, and they're all aligned to the Alberta student competencies and the Alberta program of study. So if you're a teacher not in Alberta, the student competencies, I know in Ontario's case, are very, very similar. So they definitely would align to your curriculum in that way. But if you're looking for those specific curriculum objectives, that is something that we're continuing to iterate on and think about how we can make these aligned to every provincial curricula across the country. But back to the learning kits, what we developed here, I have the titles of them on the screen, and I highlighted the ones for the elementary and junior high classrooms as those are the newest ones. We actually just launched those at the end of February. The other ones were launched about a year ago. So the ones at the grade 10 to 12 high school level, I would even argue 9 to 12, are harnessing the potential of ChatGPT. At the time when we did the focus groups, the focus really was on ChatGPT. Of course, recognizing now that different school boards are bringing in Copilot or Gemini for their students. And so teachers could very much get a lot of value still from this harnessing potential of ChatGPT learning kit. It's very, you could still use it for these other AI platforms. But it is still great to have conversations about ChatGPT because we know that students are using it. AI in the real world is really focused on the ethics of AI, impacts of AI on different parts of society, including like the democratic process, the economy, that piece. We have one that's around careers in AI, and then another one that's specifically tailored for computer science classrooms. In Alberta, we do have a computer science curriculum. It's an elective that students can take in high school, and so it's particularly aligned to that program of studies. We also do have the 3 learning kits that were just launched, 2 for the K to 6 level, and then 1 at the junior high level. But regardless of what grade level you're teaching, I would encourage you to take a look at all of them because I've had teachers at the high school level say, well, you know, the junior high one actually fits better for the students in my room. And same thing with like the junior high teachers saying, oh yeah, I've been using the high school learning kit. So they are really interdisciplinary and can be used across grade levels. Just some statistics for, well, what is a learning kit? Maybe you've never heard that term before. A learning kit is really what encapsulates a bunch of different resources all around a particular theme, those themes that I just showed you on the screen. But across all 7 of our learning kits, we have 72 unique lesson plans and learning activities that you can use with your students. We have 50 slide decks that are student facing that you could bring up immediately to talk to your students about. We also have 39 student-facing worksheets, activities that students can do, whether that be like a graphic organizer, a question answer kind of worksheet situation. We also have assessment resources for teachers, including assignment sheets as well as rubrics for those assignments. And then we have kind of this other category of resources, including videos that we've made at Amii, instructional guides and voiceovers that our team, again, at Amii has made to guide teachers through the process of using different tools and different resources that we've developed, as well as case studies about AI, not only in education, but in different areas that teachers can really use in a multitude of ways. And there's a guide that goes along with that that really tells you as a teacher how you could use some of these case studies in different classroom contexts. So overall, we have about 237 unique items that teachers can explore and 1,000+ pages of content. So there is a lot there and a lot to explore. And what we've really done is we're housing all of these learning kits on Amii's learning management platform. It's called Rise. And so this QR code on the screen will take you to create a Rise account so that you can have access to these all for free. Another way to access the Amii learning kits is through the Amii website, amii.ca. And then under the AI literacy tab, you will see K-12 education section, and you can put in your email address in order to get the learning kits that way as well. So there are 2 ways, but again, everything is free and open access for you to use and tailor in the ways that you see fit for your classroom. Of course, I'm always welcome or open to feedback as well, things that we could add. One thing that I will say in terms of the learning kits, and one of the questions that we've got a lot, is French resources. And so we are currently exploring options to create resources in French as well, so that all of our school authorities across the country can use these learning kits. And so, like I said, everything is housed on our Rise learning management system. And so this is really what Rise looks like. It's kind of positioned like a course, but it's really just where we're housing everything. And so you can see the titles of the 3 newest learning kits up on the screen. That's what it would look like for you if you were going to explore it. And if you're an elementary teacher and you want to look at AI for the elementary classroom and kind of what's encapsulated in that learning kit, you would simply click on it and it would open up for you all of the resources that are available. Now, most of the resources are in PDF form, so they're easily downloadable and printable, even the worksheets, right, if you're printing them for your students. And then the slide decks are in Google Slide view only format, so those are easy to access as well. And so just kind of what it looks like when you open it up, you see the different kind of tabs, and I'm actually going to go and flip over to the learning kit so you can see me opening things in real time, but you can see all of the different options that are there, the different types of resources that you can access. Something that teachers also highlighted throughout this process for us was the importance of having lesson descriptions front and center. Before, we had them kind of in the lesson plans, but now they're front and center on the platform, as well as the grade level and the student competencies that are addressed. So you can easily see if this is a lesson plan you want to look at or download. In terms of what's next for Amii's AI in K-12 program, we're really looking at ways that we can scale the program, increase our reach for the AI learning kits or the Amii learning kits, always looking for opportunities to develop more learning kits. And so that will definitely be coming your way as well. But the Upper Bound conference, I just want to highlight, we do have a big AI conference that happens in Edmonton every year. And this year it's happening beginning on May 20th. And you can save $100 if you want to come using my code. So there is an AI for Education track that has an opportunity for AI or for educators, K-12 educators, to really engage with meaningful AI content and hear from a lot of amazing speakers in the AI and education space. So I'm actually going to flip my screen over. So I'm going to stop sharing this one. And I'm going to go to share what the learning kits actually look like so I can do a little bit more of a walk through here. We're seeing this, I hope. Yes, okay. So yeah, so here I am actually in the K-12 learning kits. The way that they're structured now is that if you sign up through that QR code, you're going to see all of the learning kits. So you're going to see all 7 on your screen. And so for example, I'm going to pick this one because I was a former social studies teacher and a lot of this applies to what I would teach in the classroom. But this is what it looks like when you open up Rise. And if you click on the learning kit, it's going to open up and you're going to see a bunch of information here. So each learning kit has an introduction that explains to you what the learning kit is all about and what is included within the learning kit. And then you can see how it's structured kind of like a course that you have to click through to see everything that's there, or you can navigate to the side to kind of go to what you want to go to. But this is what I was talking about when I'm looking at lesson plans. So you can see the Alberta student competencies that are attached to this particular lesson plan, the curriculum connections, as well as a lesson description. And then you can see the PDF of the lesson plan that you can easily download onto your computer to use in your classroom. We've structured lesson plans as like a little bit longer and robust, whereas learning activities are more like shorter for teachers that want to do something in like 15 to 30 minutes, as opposed to maybe like 1 or 2 classroom periods. You can also see that we have like the student worksheets kind of in the same format. A lot of the ones that we developed for the high school level are either associated with an article that students would have to read or a YouTube video or a video that we created. And those again are also very easily downloadable. We also have, like I mentioned, the Amii case studies to support teachers in the classroom thinking about all of the ways that AI is impacting society. And then each learning kit also has supporting lesson resources, which was kind of that other category, if you will, as well as assessment materials. So you can see in this one in Alberta, we have like position paper and source analysis assignments at the high school level in social studies classrooms and English language arts classrooms. And so we've included AI components for those types of assessments. And you can always navigate back to the learning path to see all of the other learning kits that are available to you. And so I think I'm going to stop sharing here momentarily. Okay. And I'm going to end it there. Please feel free to contact me at any time. Again, going to the Amii website to get access to those learning kits or using the QR code that was on a previous slide. So thank you so much.
Jill, several congratulations to you. So
Thank you.
and congratulations on becoming a PhD candidate. Did I get that correct? Candidate?
Yes. Yeah.
What's the difference between being a student and a candidate? Can you explain just a little bit there?
Yeah, so a student is somebody who hasn't yet passed their like candidacy exam. So in most PhD programs, there's like a point where you have to present like your research proposal to your committee and they test you on like the limits of your knowledge in your field. And so in my case, it was like a 3-hour oral examination where I had to demonstrate my knowledge in AI and education, the scholarly literature, and then they say, yeah, you're good to go, you've passed, you can go ahead and do your research now.
Congratulations, that's wonderful. Now, how much more do you have to do of that to get to your to have that doctor in front of your name?
So my timeline is about a year. So this time next year, I should be able to defend my
That's
dissertation.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the elementary. I know, we've connected many times about these learning kits, and it was mainly a focus on high school. So I am really happy to see the focus now on elementary because we're recognizing that the students need to have AI literacy skills as well, as you were mentioning. And it's great that your team has been able to put something out for our educators. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How long did it take for you to, from start to finish, do these learning kits for the elementary stage?
Yeah, so we brought teachers in like I guess we're in 2025 now. So 2024 in April, we had about 150 teachers that were part of that elementary school pilot across 4 school boards in Alberta. And so we brought teachers into Amii, did focus groups with them in April, which really informed how we built the learning kits over the summer. And so I worked with our school board partners as well as some other teachers that we hired on for the summer to develop these resources at the elementary level. We brought all of those pilot teachers back in September and October, showed them all the resources, gave them time to play and think, and then they took those away and used them in their classrooms until January of this year. And there were 2 points for giving us feedback as well during that time. And then after we received that final feedback at mid-January point and the pilot ended, then we made some changes and launched them at the end of February at our teachers convention. So it's a bit of a process, almost a full year to pilot everything and make sure that they're as good as they can be before putting them out to the general public.
Super exciting. And I can't wait. I was clicking on the QR code with my phone there, so I'm definitely planning to download them and check them out. Now, what another thing that I'm curious about is you did the high school ones a couple
Yeah.
months earlier.
Mhm.
So what would you say that you learned from the high school process and just everything of the learning as they were out in the education space between the high school? How did you change your processes, or what did you change as you went into the elementary? Was there significant change, or was everything pretty much the same?
In terms of like the process that we followed, everything was similar, but the actual content, it was a lot trickier at the elementary level, developing the content. And so we did bring, like, I myself am a former high school, junior high teacher. And so we brought on an elementary teacher to support the building of that work, just because elementary classrooms operate a lot differently. Another tricky with that was the age restrictions on generative AI. Um, so bringing that into the elementary classroom, we really thought about ways that we could develop resources where teachers would be more so modeling a lot of what this AI could look like in a classroom space, as opposed to high school. It's like, okay, having students experiment with generative AI and using it in that critical way. At the lower elementary level in Alberta, it's like Division 1, right? Kindergarten to grade 3. They're really thinking about like, well, what even is artificial intelligence, and some of that like wording around it more so than actually using the tools, right? And so there are, of course, some tools that we can put in front of younger students. My mom is actually a kindergarten teacher, and so she was piloting some of the resources as well in her kindergarten classroom, and I got the opportunity to see how she was using things like Google Quick Draw with her students on their iPads, for example. So we have little lessons like that, but there are a lot of like teacher demos and conversations about what AI looks like. What is an algorithm? Like, the basic form of that is like following instructions, right? And so little games and things that we can play to really increase that computational thinking, as opposed to teaching them how to use a tool like ChatGPT. That's not something that we're doing at the elementary level.
Makes great sense. And it's wonderful that you could have a family member help you out there. That is the
Yeah.
best. Sure.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
getting into that classroom. Well, thank you so much. This is super exciting. And once again, congratulations to yourself, your team, the Amii folks for putting together some great resources for educators across the country. And as you mentioned, free, like this is exactly what we need to help everyone increase their AI literacy. So kudos to the Amii team. And it's such a pleasure to learn from you. Every time we connect, I'm always like, wow, I got to take notes on that. So this, and I will be sure to also include this information in my presentations going forward so that we're spreading this great opportunity to others. All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you.
So this video will be a part of the OECM Professional Learning Series, and it will be posted on there as a video so folks can watch it. You can go into the archives, you can take a look at all the others. And just to share that we do have more from the round one use case series coming up. Next week, we have Heather Builder. She is a K-12 technologies consultant with the Ottawa Catholic School Board, and she's going to be sharing her story around how the Ottawa Catholic team, they've been they've been innovating, really diving into the AI space and sharing everything as they go. So great opportunity for Heather to tell their story from their perspective. So we look forward to that. Then we'll go to the Anglophone School District East in New Brunswick, and that's April 16th. And we'll be hearing from that particular team who used AI to help achieve their district improvement goals. So just seeing how they were able to weave AI into all of the district improvement and the impact that it's had at their district. And then we'll go to Alberta at the beginning of May. And this will be the Parkland School District and how they actually leverage Gen AI in very creative ways. And Jill was mentioning about the UNESCO teacher competency framework and student competency framework with AI and how they leverage that and Gen AI to bring professional learning and set out a roadmap plan for their educators at that particular school division and the authority. So lots of interesting stories that we have coming up. And as mentioned, all of the ones that we've covered so far are archived on the site. You can watch the videos anytime. I definitely link to them, share them out. This is a great way. You can watch it at 5 in the morning or 11 at night, whatever your professional learning time is. And so this partnership will continue. We're in round two. We're going to be having more stories, more great learning as we come together. And I want to say thank you from C21 and the Dell partnership team. We look forward to seeing you in the future, and you can join us synchronously while we do these stories, or you can watch us async, whatever works best for you. In the meantime, keep well. It's now almost spring here, but we're expecting 30 centimeters of snow at the same time, so it's Canada. Good night, everyone, and thank you very much.